Saludos, and welcome to another episode of the Godfather Minute.
You're spelling it.
They call me Alex Robinson.
And they call me Andy Robinson.
And together they call us the Godfather Minute Brothers. And we're here to talk about minute 159.
Alex,
repeat after me.
A minuto.
It's funny that we're talking about this during a religious ceremony when the opening of our show is almost like a repeated liturgy of.
It's a ritual.
It's a ritual.
It's a ritual. In el nombre di Padre, di Madre, di Godfather Brother Minute.
Minuto numero centende.
Cento.
Ciento.
Cinquanta.
Cinquanta.
Nove.
Nove.
You got it. No way. You go you go my way, you go no, huh?
You can go your nove. Go your nove. That's minute 159 in English. In minute 159, the baptism rages on.
Get your baptism on, Alex.
With Michael Francis Risi receiving his blessings, Cheech receiving a shave, Clemenza climbing stairs, and Neri putting on a policeman's uniform.
What?
Is he a rat? Bonnie?
This is a little fish foreshadowing, right?
It's a little fishy. You gotta admit.
You think Al's auditioning for a cameo on a Barney Miller episode because he knows Abe Vigoda is going to be starring in it soon?
Because he knows the movie's almost over, so he has to start auditioning for other acting jobs.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's joining the Village People. There was a cop in the Village People, right?
Yeah.
But it was like a motorcycle cop, not like a beat cop.
I don't know.
Are you still allowed to say that anymore? Beat cop?
You can. Oh, I don't know. Walking the beat. I never thought about what that really means. Because they beat people?
I guess.
Yeah. Well, we're going to learn about that. Like I told you earlier, Alex, I got a ton of information about Al Neri this episode.
Do you want to get into it now?
No, let's
okay.
Give me what you got first.
All right. Well, first of all, we see Cheech getting a professional shave.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten a professional shave? And did I ask you this question already?
I don't remember if you asked me the question. And yes, I get a professional shave almost every day.
What? Get out of here.
Well, I've been shaving since late teens, so I consider myself a professional now.
Have you ever been paid for it?
No.
That's
Doesn't
a
count.
big difference.
Also, only if you pay for something, it's professional?
That's kind of the definition of professional.
Okay. Sounds like the definition of you got scammed. You got busted. See, that's your capitalist brainwashed roots talking now. You got to pay for it. If you don't pay for it, it's not professional.
Well,
right?
We're not communists. I mean, come on.
I have not. Have you?
I got professionally shaved once. Once. It was my wedding was coming up, and my wife persuaded me to give it a try. Just to, get a professional shave, see what it's like. Because ladies do all the Medicare, the pedicures, and they do the pedicures, the manicures, the Medicare, the social aid, all that.
Medicaid, Medicare, especially right before the wedding. It's most important. Yeah.
So
shaving lessons.
Yeah, that was the only. So I said, okay, I'll do it. I'll get professionally shaved.
What'd you think?
The results were good.
Mm-hmm.
It was not worth the uncomfortability of having someone shave you.
What was uncomfortable about it?
Well, I don't like getting. I don't like. I hate making small talk. Do you want to know the real Alex Robinson?
Yes. Who, Alex? Your fans want to know.
Is the real Alex Robinson?
Well, I'll give you this. I'll give you the inside scoop from the man who knows it the best. I do hate making
Who, your mother?
Hey, I hate making small talk with barbers, and the shave is just even a more personal version of that. Because with a haircut, at least you're not looking directly. The person's like mostly out of your eye line. They're like behind you or on your side or whatever. But with the shave, they're getting right up in there in your business.
Yeah.
So it was.
Were you upright or were you like Cheech?
I was
Cheech
Cheech.
is about 10 degree. He's almost horizontal.
Yeah, no, I was laying back.
A la Cheech.
Maybe not that horizontal, but more so than like a haircut.
Okay.
Like a dentist chair, kind of more
Yeah.
that level.
Did I ever tell you my haircut trick?
You got a trick?
Well, yeah, I don't get them. No,
Now you
to-
have been cutting your own hair for as long as I've known you.
Yeah,
so this
right?
This is professional advice.
I'm a professional barber too, Alex. It turns out.
You're a professional dentist. You wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
Whole lot of hats.
A whole lot of hats. As soon as I go sit down in that chair to get a haircut, I do a phony yawn. And I say, "Oh, you tired? Long day?" And I always get it after work. I go, "Yeah, oh my gosh!" And I say, "I'm so sorry if I fall asleep. If you need me awake, just give me a nudge."
You put your sunglasses on.
Yeah, I put my earbuds in, my sunglasses on. I even put those big earphones that cover your ears.
They cover your entire head, don't
Yeah.
they? I wear a diving suit when I go to get my
The old school ones.
Yeah, like the little window.
And they have the kind of like hazmat hands that go into the helmet bubble, and that's how they cut your hair. The scissors on the inside.
It's a soundproof booth. That would be a great. That should be maybe that should be our merch for this week. Is a barber shop, and especially in these COVID times, a barber shop where the barbers will put their hands through those things, and then they can.
And you got a bubble around your
Yeah,
head.
you got a bubble around you.
Oh, it's great. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It really is.
You can keep all your arrangements. There's a place to hang up your hat. It's
Now, is it bring your own bubble? You walk in and they just insert their hands into the...
No.
So you want to use a bubble that's been used by 10 other dudes before
you're
you? Chances are one of which has COVID-19?
You're right. I guess you have to wear a helmet that has hand holes in it.
Yeah.
Or it's like a disposable one. Actually, this is America. It's a disposable one.
Okay.
They're made out of styrofoam and they're totally replaceable.
But you have to put the scissors on the inside,
That's true.
right? You have to show with your own shears in there. 'Cause
Well,
they,
I guess
they
if
insert
this-
their hands and then grab the scissors.
If this helmet is specifically designed for haircuts, I guess it could have a pocket in which you would have like little like a caddy inside for all the things you would like clippers.
Oh yeah,
That way they could just use the ones that are in there already.
it's like a barber's assistant. pack.
Exactly.
Yeah. And well, and you might as well get the Cadillac version of this. It's got a good stereo system in the bubble.
Well, yeah, don't forget the whole purpose is so you don't have to make small talk with the person. So it would have to have some kind, either a sound
That's
system
right.
or white noise or something.
Yeah.
Like,
You're like, I can't hear you in here. Don't try talking.
and actually, you know what? It would
So
have
windy.
speakers on the outside that would be very, very loud to
blasting
discourage people from
outward.
trying to talk. Because that way they couldn't. Even if they did want to talk, they'd have to yell over it. So it's like a way of reminding them,
Or-
hey, no one's interested.
Or why not have, you just missed it. Why not have speakers facing outward and you have a remote control in your hands? And when the barber says something to you, you click a button to choose a response. The pre-recorded, so you don't have to say anything. It's like, oh, really? Like, wow.
You know what? You just
Wow,
missed
that's
it.
interesting.
It's sound activated.
What do you mean?
It's just it's like a tape with like different words of you saying, huh, or wow. I didn't think of it that way. And then every time the person speaks, it like activates it. And then once they stop, it like repeats when they're done. And then
So you don't have to be involved at all.
you do not have to be added. You can fall
Wow.
asleep.
And the cool thing is, I'm going to add on to it, but because these are high tech times, when you purchase this item, you just have to read maybe 3 sentences.
Yeah.
And then it's a smart system. It uses all those phonetic sounds that you that it recorded in those 3 sentences, and it can create any word. It can say any word in any intonation to make it so convincing that you are engaged with the audience. It's like AI. We're talking.
Well, first of all,
machine
I don't
learning.
even think you need to do that because we're being recorded by our phones all the time anyway. So they would automatically, that would be available. The Google Barber would just take the information it has on you and put it into the.
So you need. So you basically you don't do anything, and it just goes into all of your digital history and it extracts your voice from all these different databases that they've been storing your information on for years.
Yeah, and then eventually the algorithm would be such where you wouldn't even have to talk to the barber because the helmet would say short, back on side, like clippers, it's a clipper, level 3, that kind of a thing. Why not just make the helmet with a built-in barber in it?
Well, I was going to say if you get it advanced enough, you won't even have to get your hair cut.
I pay someone to get my hair cut for me. I'm a busy man. Well, there you go. That's our merch item for the week.
Yeah.
Portable barbershop.
Google Barber.
We call it We call it the Cheech machine.
Yeah, the Cheech machine.
Because he'd be like the spokesman for it.
Alex, would you take a pill would you buy and take a pill if I told you that it would, and you get to pick the pill it determines. I'm having trouble saying this. It determines how long.
Start over again.
It determines how long your hair will get.
Oh, and then it stops it.
It
turns it into fur, as opposed to hair.
No, it just stops it growing. So you choose a pill to make your head hair grow half an inch, and then it stops growing.
Right.
And then maybe it starts growing again in 3 months when the extended release medication wears off.
At this point, I would say no, but earlier I would have said yes.
Instead you would design a high-tech machine learning Google Barber. Everything we described, the Cheech machine, instead of just taking a pill.
Well, but see, the problem is, at this point, this is really getting to know the real Alex Robinson. My hair is generally, I just keep it like a buzz cut. So I don't even go to barbers anymore. I just do it at home. So,
so you're a professional barber.
Well, technically, my wife is a professional barber because she actually does it.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, we've been married for 15 years, so we don't even need to make small talk anymore.
Yeah, boy. 15 years.
We know every bit of small talk the other one has to say. But Cheech,
yeah. We should probably get back to the minute, right?
Oh, the Godfather, right?
Yeah, that's right, Alex. As you can tell, I've had some caffeine. I'm a little inspired to gab away.
Well, I like the fact that they segue, they connect the what's going on at the baptism with what's going on with our assassins, because you see the baby laying back. You see Michael Francisci, you see leaning back, and then it cuts to Cheech also leaning back like a little baby.
Yeah.
And then you see them blessing the baby with the water. And that's when you see Clemenza and Neri mopping sweat off their disgusting faces.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So well done.
So I guess obviously Clemenza's out of shape. That's what has him so nervous.
Yeah, huffing and puffing.
But Neri, I guess he's nervous because he's about to betray the Corleone family because it's revealed that he's a cop. Is that why he's so nervous?
I don't want to spoil it, Alex, but that is not why he is so nervous.
Well, why don't you tell me why he's so nervous then? You're so smart.
I don't think he's so nervous. I get the impression it's just really hot. I know that's probably less dramatic.
Well, first of all, why is Neri wearing his hat before he's even putting his badge and gun on? That's no wonder you're hot.
Yeah. Well, remember last minute, Rocco was putting together his gun and you could see the whole beach scene down there. So totally. I think it is summertime.
Yes.
And summer in New York is very humid.
Yeah. The back of your neck gets all hot and gritty.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. In the church, it's probably super hot.
Yeah.
They're all dressed up. Well, let's see. I do like the first time you see Neri in this minute, you don't see that you see him starting to get dressed, but you don't see that he's putting on a police uniform.
Right.
You see him just kind of folding the shirt, unpacking his jacket, but it's not until it comes back later and they present that it shows a close-up of the bed. He places a gun on a bed, and then the badge, and then it moves up, and you see that he's wearing a police uniform. What?
How?
What can that... Traitor.
Has Al Neri been in the... this is a weird question. Has Al Neri been in the whole movie? Like, was he around from the very beginning in the...
In the book, he's been around. Well, in the book, I'm not sure at what point he is recruited, but he's definitely recruited when Don Corleone is still alive.
Okay.
But I don't think we see him in the movie by then. And definitely in the Mo Green scenes, he's there.
Yeah. It just made me wonder if McCluskey and Al Neri crossed paths when he was a police officer.
Yeah, Puzo writes a whole chapter about the history of Al Neri, which I'll go into in a minute. Mm-hmm. And surprisingly, they don't talk about McCluskey.
Right. Well, maybe there's a lot of crooked cops, so it's not like there's only that would be a real coincidence. Although that could be like how he got involved. Like it would be great if he was the guy who's like, but Captain, he's a white. Or like that was actually Al Neri.
Yeah.
God damn it, Al! I said stand him up. You're a disgrace to that uniform. You're fired. And that's how he joined
That's why. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't
fired, you punks.
Maybe it wasn't until Al Hagen shows up and says, "You'll have to appear before a judge in the morning and show cause." That Al Neri says, "Whoa, I don't want that to happen to me. I'm out of here."
Oh yeah, I don't want to show cause.
Immediately changes sides. Well, before I get into the book, Alex, the only other comment I have is that Clemenza is huffing it up the stairs.
Yes,
right. He's got a few flights to go up. He's a big guy. He's sweating. I just wonder if he's going to get to the top of the stairs sometime this month.
I hope so.
It is funny that they gave the guy with probably the weakest heart. And
do you think that's why
the lowest level of fitness, the hardest job, the most physically demanding job?
Do you think that was maybe what contributed to his eventual heart attack?
Oh, that was no heart attack. Oh, maybe Frankie Five Angels somehow got it arranged. It switched some of the assignments. Clemenza was originally supposed to just walk into the hotel room of Totality and gun him down with a machine gun. He's like, I need to make a spot open for myself.
Did Cheech
I'm gonna step over Clemenza.
Did Cheech plan to get a shave during this, or was he like early and was like, what the heck? I'm gonna get a shave.
I don't know. Good question. Yeah, I don't know.
The Barber Shop and Clemenza's scene were both filmed at the St. Regis Hotel.
Where's that?
That's in New York City. I think they believe where they filmed other. There were some other scenes filmed there, but according to Mrs. Clemenza, Francis Ford Coppola made Richard Castellano go up the stairs 38 times.
Whoa, different takes?
Yeah, made him climb up to go up and down the stairs 38 times.
Why?
It doesn't say.
Do you think because he really wanted it to look real that he was tired?
It's hard to imagine he needed him to do it 38 times just to make him really look tired.
Yeah. Wow.
Like the first 36 takes, he was totally like, yeah, I'm ready, boss, anytime.
Yeah.
So, but also keep in mind, this is Mrs. Clemenza saying it. Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
It was probably like 2 times.
Yeah, that's right. Well, maybe he could only get, I think Clemenza had to get up to the 3rd flight because that's where he was going to surprise the mob heads with his shotgun blast. Mm-hmm. But the first 37 takes, he only made it to the 1st floor. Oh, that's why he had to keep doing it because he could never get up to where he needed to go.
Oh, he got so tired, you would have to go back to the bottom.
I go back down. It's like a kid's game.
Or it's like that chick. It's like, oh, I was halfway up the stairs and I got too tired, so I went back down to start over.
That's great.
All right, so finally, tell us about Al the cop Neri.
Al, I feel like we need a Al. Would you give us a story about your life? Some kind of intro.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Puzo writes quite a bit about the. I guess in the movie, you really don't know much about Al Neri, but
know nothing about him.
No, nothing. And in the book, Puzo writes quite a whole chapter about him. And it's interesting that it's not until the very end of the book, probably in the last 20 pages of the book, and there's a whole chapter about him. Here we go. Page 413, chapter 30, Puzo writes. This is when he's preparing to the scene of this minute. He unpinned the badge and set it on the table to be polished. The regulation holster and gun were draped over a chair. This old routine of detail made him happy in some strange way. One of the few times he had felt happy since his wife had left him nearly 2 years ago.
Neri 2 years ago.
Nearly.
Al, could you get a divorce?
Do you think his mob nickname is Al Nearly?
Probably because he missed one time.
Yeah, like he almost became a good cop. And he almost he almost made Merle a drink.
He nearly made.
Nearly, yeah.
Well, Al is short for almost.
Almost nearly.
That's his garbage pail kid right there.
There we go. Boy, we are knocking out all the bonus content now, right?
We forgot garbage pail kids last week.
We did, yeah.
So
Al almost nearly.
Mm-hmm. Almost nearly.
Al almost nearly Neri. Let's see. Puzo writes. There's some kind of skipping around because there's a lot about him. He was rarely tactful. So this is now before he gets divorced. This is his history. He was rarely tactful. If he disagreed with a group's attitude or an individual's opinion, he kept his mouth shut or brutally spoke his contradiction. He never gave a polite agreement. He also had a true Sicilian temper, and his rages could be awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome rages, dude.
Totally awesome, man. That was a nearly awesome one, almost. That might fit nicely with the standing item we have in the bonus content about the historical figure. Where they travel around and meet.
He meets Spicoli.
And by the way, the reason I'm going into such depth about Neri is because we are going to see him in the next 2 movies.
Sure.
So this is a good opportunity to learn about him.
It's a good opportunity.
Puzo writes, Neri, I keep wanting to call him Nearly now. Neri, in the space of 5 years, became one of the most feared policemen on the New York City force. Also one of the most honest. But he had his own ways of enforcing the law. He hated punks. And when he saw a bunch of young rowdies making a disturbance on a street corner at night, disturbing passerbys, he took quick and decisive action. He employed a physical strength that was truly extraordinary, which he himself did not fully appreciate.
A question.
Yeah.
Is this while he's still married?
This is, yes, while he's still married.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, and it's interesting reading this. I get the impression that he's maybe bigger in the book than he appears in the movie.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like a particularly strong guy in the movie. But Puzo writes, so there's one example he gives.
What page are we on?
Page 414.
Okay.
He gives an example of his brutality and how he didn't like punks. He found some young punks who were menacing some pedestrians. He lined them all up and he scared them all off. But then the fourth boy gave an Italian name and smiled at Neri as if to claim some sort of kinship because the others were non-Italian. Neri was unmistakably of Italian descent. Neri looked at this youth for a moment and asked superfluously, "You Italian?" The boy grinned confidently. Neri hit him with a stunning blow on the forehead with his flashlight. The boy dropped to his knees. The skin and flesh of his forehead had cracked open and blood poured down harshly. You want to guess why he is busting his kid's chops instead of the other kids who I think were Irish?
Because he hates Italians.
Nope. You son of a bitch, you're a disgrace to the Italians. You give us all a bad name. Get on your feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's ironic considering that he would eventually become a gangster.
Yeah. And that youth's name was Joey Zaza.
Sure, he was a little headstrong.
Yeah. I like how Neri in this scene says, "Get on your feet." It's like, stand them up. All the police make everyone stand up. Let's see. Eventually, Neri was transferred to the beat that held the United Nations building area.
Oh.
You used to live around there, right?
I did used to live near there.
mainly because he had not shown his precinct sergeant the proper respect. The UN people, with their diplomatic immunity, parked their limousines all over the streets without regard to police regulations. Neri complained to the precinct and was told not to make waves, to just ignore it. I don't know why Neri's all hung up on this. But one night, there was a whole side street that was impassable because
he was all obsessed with the street parking.
This is I see a whole Netflix spin-off series, like the whole UN beat.
Yeah.
It was after midnight, so Neri took his huge flashlight. By the way, his flashlight was his preferred weapon.
Yeah, tell that the little Joey's that.
His name was really Joey Zasazi, but that's the sound he made when Neri hit him. He's like, "Hey, I'm Joey Zasazi." It was after midnight, so Neri took his huge flashlight from the patrol car and went down the street smashing windshields on the limousines.
Damn.
It was not easy, even for high-ranking diplomats, to get the windshields repaired in less than a few days.
What's weird about this is that it sounds like there's no corruption. Like Al is like, it seems weird to me that that a cop is going around busting limousine windows when it's much more likely that anyone with a limousine would be in the pocket, like the cops would be in their pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm getting the impression Neri was a different kind of cop.
Clearly.
Yeah,
He's
had
obsessed with rules.
Rules and justice, which we're going to see shortly why he was drawn to the court working for the Corleones. Let's see. Protests poured into the police precinct station house demanding protection against this vandalism. After a week of windshield smashing, wow, boy, the truth gradually hit somebody about what was actually happening, and Albert almost nearly Neri was transferred to Harlem.
nearly.
So funny. Al Neri had the fierce protective. Oh, this is an interesting. Al Neri had the fierce protective affection for his sister, common to all Sicilians. And he always visited her at least once every couple of months to make sure she was all right. So Puzo goes on to write a story. He goes over to Sunday to have Sunday dinner with his sister and her family, and his sister's son is sleeping in, wakes up and is really rude to his sister, even like curses her out. Before the frightened eyes of the two women, that's Al Neri's wife and his sister, Al Neri gave his nephew a merciless, careful physical beating.
Wow.
Just scared the hell out of him. It was 2 months after this that Al Neri got back from a late shift on the force and found his wife had left him.
Damn.
Yeah. Her father told Neri that Rita was afraid of him, that she was afraid to live with him because of his temper. Al was stunned with disbelief. He had never struck his wife, never threatened her in any way, had never felt anything but affection for her. He was so bewildered. That same night, while working, this will be a turning point. That same night, he responds to a call in Harlem, and there is a man named Wax Baines.
Wax?
Yeah, Wax Baines, who is, Puzo writes, a notorious pimp, dope pusher, and strong arm artist. So, Alex, which of those three would rank the order in which you'd want to be if you had to be those three?
What are the choices again?
A notorious pimp, dope pusher, and strong arm artist.
I guess I'll go with dope pusher first.
How come?
Because
you want money.
Look, I want dope.
Yeah.
No, just because I feel like the other ones, the pimp is one where you have to exploit a person, whereas with the drugs, you're basically, I guess, I would be an ethical drug dealer who would only sell them to adults.
Yeah.
Like, keep it away from the schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because I would feel bad beating up ladies or strong arming people, but I wouldn't feel bad selling adults narcotics.
Yeah, consenting adults.
Well, I wouldn't sell it to anyone against their will.
Can you sell something to someone against their will? Is that possible?
I mean, I guess they would just see it as you're stealing from them, and they're just giving you something they don't want.
Yeah.
So I guess technically it would be a theft more so than a
Wax Banes.
wax Banes.
It's a great name.
Is it WHACKS?
Wax Bane. He is an African American gentleman in Harlem who is, no, it's WAX BAINES. Sorry, S. Baines with an S.
Okay.
He is a notorious man in Harlem who has been arrested several times before. I just realized notorious pimp, that's Tatalia, dope pusher, that's Salazzo and Barzini, and strong arm artist, I guess that would be the Corleones, right?
Yeah.
And they're all represented there.
Yeah.
So this Wax Baines character has been bailed out all the time. Even Neri had arrested him before. So this night, this fateful night, Neri and his partner respond to this call where Wax Baines had cut up with a razor 2 of his prostitutes.
Damn.
So there's this big standoff. And long story short, Al hits him with a flashlight once, but then he hits him a second time and he ends up killing him. And there were enough witnesses, including his police partner, that he is indicted for manslaughter.
Dude, obviously it was a different time.
Yeah, I know. I'm very surprised, but I think there were enough people, non-cop witnesses. He was indicted for manslaughter.
But he was the person was a criminal.
Well, they didn't see it that way. It's Wax Baines, Alex.
He whacked wax. He whacked wax. There's our headline. Wax whacked.
Yeah. Al was convicted and sentenced from 1 to 10 years in prison. And by this time, so his wife had left him. Now he's in trouble with the law. By this time, he was so filled with a baffled rage and hatred of all society that he didn't give a damn.
I'm also filled with a baffled rage.
I think
too. This is
Yeah.
now becoming a fantasy novel. The fact that
totally.
a cop can beat up and kill a pimp and would be convicted and actually go to prison for it.
Yeah,
It's just too much.
It's not believable.
Yeah.
Puzo writes, only Al's wife's father, so he's still married to the woman, a shrewd old-style Italian who owned a fish market in the Bronx, realized that a man like Al Neri had little chance of surviving a year in prison. One of his fellow inmates might kill him. If not, he was almost certain to kill one of them. So out of guilt that his daughter had deserted a fine husband for some womanly foolishness, Neri's father-in-law used his contacts with the Corleone family. He petitioned for their intercession. And interestingly, this father-in-law had paid protection money to one of the Corleones and supplied the Corleone family with the finest fish available as a gift. Thank you for the salmon and kippers. If you ever need me to get someone out of jail, thank you so much for this container of caviar. You're spelling it.
That story angers me. It aggravates me on so many levels.
Really?
Yeah. First of all, the fact that he was convicted. And second of all, they waited until he was actually in prison before they asked for Don Corleone to intervene.
No, he was just convicted.
But again, just convicted. I don't know. I guess it's the same thing with Bonacera. He waited until they got a sentence before he intervened. So I guess people wait. That to me seems like it's more like you should have to pay more if you wait to see what the result of the trial is, rather than it's almost like a plea bargain. Like, if you go to Don Corleone before the trial starts, you should get it for cheaper than after the person is found guilty.
Oh yeah,
and
it's
then
a bigger cost.
Yeah, so it's a big expense.
Yeah, affidavits and writs are big expense, Tom. So the Corleone family knew about Al Neri. He was something of a legend as a tough cop. He had built a reputation because he was so strong and feared. And the Corleone family was always interested in such men. The fact he was a policeman did not mean too much. Many young men started down a false path to their true destiny.
Like Michael himself.
Yeah, time and fortune usually set them aright. So it was Pete Clemenza, who had a fine nose for good personnel, brought Neri and Tom into this, and Clemenza says to them, Maybe we have another Luca Brasi here. Not interesting? I guess he was bigger in the book.
Luca Brasi is the gold standard of henchmen.
Yeah.
So what? So and that's it. They lived happily ever after with the Corleones.
Oh, there's some cool other stuff I want to share, but go ahead.
Well, I'm just
What's your
curious.
question?
I'm curious as to what Al Neri's mindset was during all of this, because up until this point, it doesn't sound like he was actually interested in criminality. If anything,
Yeah.
he was an overzealous cop.
Yeah.
So how did
obsessed
he-
with rules, right?
How did he then give himself the permission to become basically a hired assassin?
Yeah, good question. And Puzo's about to write about that bridge from law to law.
Lawless. What page are we on?
We were on page 420.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was informed that the judge had reconsidered the case. His sentence was suspended
What?
and he was released. Suspended sentence. Can you believe it, Alex?
Oh.
Neri learned what had happened and he paid his debt to his father-in-law by agreeing to get a divorce.
I heard when he got suspended sentence, he laughed.
So he gets a divorce, then he goes out to the Corleones to thank them because he found out that they had got him off the hook for old time's sake.
So the wife divorced him.
Al agreed to get a divorce.
So it sounds like it was instigated by the wife.
Well, so the wife's father got him this favor.
Yeah.
And so, his wife did not want to be married to
She
him
left him
anymore.
before all this.
Yeah, but I guess back then you couldn't get a divorce. Maybe like it was, especially in Italian Catholic society, the guy had to agree to it.
Right.
So he goes out to the Corleones.
Makes Connie a drink.
Michael says to him, "Oh, I couldn't let them do that to a fellow Sicilian. They should have given you a goddamn medal, but those damn politicians don't give a shit about anything except pressure groups."
So wait, so what year was this?
It doesn't say, but Don Corleone is still alive.
Okay. 6
Not
shots and
sure,
still
yeah.
alive.
Listen, I would never have stepped into the picture if I hadn't checked everything out and saw what a raw deal you got. One of my people talked to your sister, and she told
to my sister.
us how you were always worried about her and her kid. Your father-in-law says you're the finest fellow in the world. That's rare. Tactfully, Michael did not mention anything about Neri's wife having left him. So they're buttering Neri up. They're checking him out. They chatted for a while. Neri started opening up to
Buttered
Michael.
Neri.
Yeah. Michael was only about 5 years his senior, but Neri spoke to him as if he were much older enough to be his father.
Wait, Al was
No, Michael is 5 years older.
and who's speaking as if they were a father?
Neri is speaking to Michael as if he were much older.
Oh, I see.
As if Michael were his
He's
father.
deferring to the Godfather.
Yeah, that's right. So that afternoon they have lunch, and it was the most agreeable afternoon that Al Neri had spent since he was a small boy, since the days before his parents had died when he was only 15.
After he murdered them.
Yeah. So there's definitely a theme here. Remember Tom Hagen? Well, he broke their windshields because they parked on the wrong side of the driveway. Remember Sonny took in Tom Hagen when his parents died?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a theme going here.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Wax Baines does for all of his employees.
And Vito Corleone had his parents
Yeah,
murdered.
that's right. Don Corleone was very amiable and delighted when he found out Al Neri's parents had originally come from a small village only a few minutes from his own.
That's funny that, I guess he went back. He's maintained his ties. Because I was like, it's funny that he still remembers what village was Neri. But I guess he went back to Sicily not infrequently for business trips.
Yeah, and I also think Italian families talked so much about their heritage and
Yeah, that's
towns.
true.
They were they probably knew the geography and knew people who lived
Yeah.
in all these other towns.
Yeah, probably every time you met a Sicilian, you'd say, "Where in Sicily you
Yeah.
from?" And then
Yeah,
that
where
would
are you from?
establish
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
And
Those mustache Pete's are real into that stuff.
oh, totally. Puzo writes, Neri was struck by the thought that he was finally with his own true people. He understood that he was only a casual guest, but he knew he would find a permanent place and be happy in such a world.
Oh, nice.
And just to wrap this up, Alex.
So I would say in this case, Al Neri, to use our D&D analogy, is lawful neutral. because
Tell me more about that.
he just wants to follow rules that someone else tells him to do. He doesn't care what about the morality of the rules as long as he will follow the rules, whether the rules are given to him by the police or by his crime family.
That's interesting.
So
That's really interesting.
maybe that would be lawful evil. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he was lawful good before,
I mean, kind of. He starts smashing windshields.
but of lawbreakers.
That's true. See, that's why I think it's a good fit for him in the Corleone family, because it's at the end of the day, it's still justice.
Yes.
Still justice, but it's efficient, real justice, not court bureaucracy.
Yeah, that is not justice.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So let's see. So flashing forward to where Neri is dressing as a cop, getting ready to finish the end of Godfather 1, he wishes that Don Corleone, the great man, was still alive to see the service that would be done this day.
Oh, nice.
A few more things to wrap this up, Alex.
Uh-huh.
The Corleone family approved of what Al Neri had done, that whole killing of Wax Baines, which society had condemned and punished him for. The Corleone family valued him. Society did not.
Poor Al.
Yeah. So Neri was put in the Clemenza regime and tested carefully. Certain precautions had to be taken. He was, after all, once been a policeman, but he was naturally ferocious. In less than a year, he made his bones. He could never turn back. He could never turn back.
Remember how excited he was when he got his assignment to go to Las Vegas and
Yeah.
he went to the party and all the girls were there and he's like, damn, I didn't get this as a cop.
Yeah. I don't need to smash more windshields anymore. That'd be great. No matter where he goes, whatever his assignment is, he ends up smashing windshields.
That's his trademark.
Yeah. Mo Green, when he's complaining to Mikey, shouting, he's like, the customers couldn't get drinks at the table. People couldn't see where they were driving when they were leaving the casinos. I gotta kick ass.
Because the other way, sure, I got to break windshields every now and then to make it run right.
I think Al's regret is that he isn't present when maybe he is present when Carlo gets garroted in the car because he kicks out the windshield.
Totally, yeah.
Maybe Carlo did that to get back at Neri, who had once smashed his windshield in.
Oh, yeah. I bet Al, do you think Al, when he got involved in the criminal operations, opened up like a glass, like a windshield repair or windshield replacement company?
Yeah. And when he'd smash one, he'd leave the car there with the card.
He would smash the window and then like pretend to be a cop and walk up and go, hey, looks like your window got smashed. Here, you should go see this guy.
He's playing all the roles.
Yeah. You're a disgrace. Yeah. So let's rate this minute now that we got.
Hold on. I know this is a lot. I got a little bit more about Al Neri.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were done.
No, because there's some final insight about Don Corleone. Yeah. Let's see. Clemenza really was happy with Neri's work. He would be better than Luca, Clemenza bragged.
Faster,
After all,
stronger.
physically, the man was a marvel. His reflexes and coordination such that he could have been another Joe DiMaggio. Clemenza also knew that Neri was not a man to be controlled by someone like himself, so that's why Michael took charge of him. So Michael took charge of him with Tom Hagen as the necessary buffer. I know you like to know how these things work, Alex.
A lot of buffers.
He was a, quote, special, and as such commanded a high salary, but did not have his own living, a bookmaking or strong arm operation. He had Michael's respect, and Hagen once said to Michael, well, now you've got your Luca. While learning the business, Al Neri, while learning the business.
Can I just stop for a second about that? I found that very interesting that he does not have his own source of income.
Well, he has a high salary.
Oh, that's right, because he's salary. He's basically like a bodyguard. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
It's not like he doesn't just get paid by the job. He gets a salary.
Yeah, which makes sense. I think you'd want to pay your bodyguards that way. We want them distracted.
Oh, yeah, I would totally.
Mentally and all these other operations going on.
I would totally pay my bodyguards well.
Yeah. How much would you pay them?
I would say what's your asking price, and I'd pay a 10% over their asking price.
Oh, okay.
I would want to give them a big incentive to keep me alive.
Yeah.
And they only get paid at the end of the job. So if I do
when you live,
yeah, when I live. So
if you outlive them,
Yeah, that's true. If I die before they do, clearly they weren't doing their job.
Yeah. So Puzo writes, this is what this has all been building up to, Alex. Michael asks, so Don Corleone is tutoring Michael, and Michael asks him, how come you used a guy like Luca Brasi, an animal like that? And this is what the Don said. I'm going to read it. Quote, there are men in
Let them lose their souls.
There are men in this world who, and pay attention because I don't understand it.
Okay.
I'm going to need you to interpret it for me.
Make sure your friends overestimate.
It's kind of like that. It gets there. There are men in this world who go about demanding to be killed. You must have noticed them. They quarrel in gambling games. They jump out of their automobiles in a rage if someone so much as scratches their fender. They humiliate the bully people whose capabilities, blah, 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 etc. These are people who wander through the world shouting, kill me, you're spelling it. And there is always somebody...
Spill me.
Spell it, go on, spell it.
Spill it out.
And there is always somebody ready to oblige them. We read about it in the newspapers every day. Such people, of course, do a great deal of harm to others also. Luca Brasi was such a man. I'm thinking now probably because he had his child killed, remember? He's probably so messed up from that. But he was such an extraordinary man that for a long time nobody could kill him. Most of these people are of no concern to ourselves, but a Brasi is a powerful weapon to be used. The trick is that since he does not fear death, and indeed looks for it, then the trick is to make yourself the only person in the world that he truly desires not to kill. Mm-hmm. He has only that one fear, not of death, but that you may be the one to kill him. He is yours then. Could you please explain that to me?
Which part?
That the whole end, like, he wants to die.
Like he's a reckless. There are reckless maniacs in the world. If you happen to come across a reckless maniac, it's better to use them for your own purposes than to have them be running around like a maniac.
He says, then the trick is to make yourself the only person in the world that he truly desires not to kill.
Yeah, it's like a dog. Like the way a dog will defend its even if you have like a fighting dog and you're mean to it, it will still be loyal to you and attack other people because it's loyal to you.
That's it. He has only that one fear, not of death, but that you may be the one to kill him. So you have to convince this animal that you have the power to kill him.
I guess so.
But then why? I don't understand. Then why wouldn't he wants to die, right? Aren't these people that?
Well, they're not suicidal. They just don't take that into. I don't think they literally want to die, but I think they just don't. It just doesn't enter their mind whether they're going to live or die or not. Just their immediate, whatever their rage is or whatever. You know, that's they don't think it through. Or
okay,
whatever. That's the impression I got.
Yeah, makes sense. And that was one of the most valuable lessons given by the Don before he died. And Michael had used it to make Neri his Luca Brasi.
There you go.
And then finally, flashing forward again to this minute. This is just an interesting little detail.
So maybe that's part of Al Neri's
his rule rage.
Well, because when he's a cop and he gets his rule rage, he goes too far. But in the world of being a mafia enforcer, his rule rage is the perfect amount because he's doing what he's told and he can kill people without worrying about getting yelled at by his boss.
Yeah, without being transferred to the UN. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good fit.
It's hard to go overboard. It's hard to go overboard when you're a mob enforcer.
And it's still justice.
No, that is not justice. No.
Puzo writes, Al had turned in his gun when he was suspended from the force, but through some admin oversight, they had not made him give up his shield, so he still had his badge. Clemenza supplied him with a new 38 police special that could not be traced. You know, that's one of Clemenza's specialties. Yeah. Neri broke it down, oiled it, checked the hammer, put it together again, clicked the trigger. He loaded the cylinders and was set to go.
I think it's funny that he goes to the trouble of using like a real badge and the cuffs and like you see he has like cuff links and stuff.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
But like
it's his old uniform.
Is anyone going to who's going to get that close to him where that's going to become a factor? That he couldn't just go to the drugstore and buy one of those cops and robbers kits for a little bad, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe back in the day you couldn't just go and buy those.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's funny. He shows up with a fake mustache and like a kid's Halloween costume, police officer.
And like handcuffs that are like way too small and you
those
just plastic bend
ones.
through them.
Yeah. That's why the guy in the limo flashing forward ends up not moving. Remember?
Yeah.
He waves him
Yeah.
by, but he won't move. He's like, "You're not a cop."
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the rule because that's when that's the first thing I thought of when you mentioned that, about how he was obsessed with rules. Is that
yeah.
he really like
He's really writing him a ticket.
yeah he really did. He didn't even know that was Barzini's guy. He's just like wants the guy to move along.
You mean Totali's guy?
No, what I just realized is that Tatalia's a pimp. So let's rate this minute.
All right, I got mine.
All right, I'm ready too.
1, 2. Yeah, there we go.
Still building up.
Yeah, still building.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got, Alex.
So I guess we should go into the bonus content. If you want to join us, darling listener, you can go to godfatherminute.com/support. Pay about $1 a show and you get usually typically a half an hour of extra content, typically.
That's right.
So, yeah, go do that. And join us the next time when we say...
En el nombre patrio de
Tictos, monotictos, mis bonus.